going on, Dynasty? Shane, yo, back this up to point 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. There is, for instance, the question of her bisexuality. We're still doing the liturgy, but we're going to read this article first. People who knew Janice differ on whether, yeah, we're going to get to you, Steve, and whether sexual relationships with, he just can't believe it, with women were an important part of her life. And I don't know the facts. In any case, a public acknowledgement of bisexual proclivities would not necessarily have contradicted her image. It could easily have been passed off as more pull out the stops hedonism or another manifestation of her all encompassing need for love. On the other hand, we're going to get more coffee in a little bit, Jack. On the other hand, she could have used it to say something new about women and liberation. They said, how come you just say famous people's names? There's so many people who aren't famous who want you to say their names. I'm fucking sorry. That's not fair, you're right. I'll just stop saying famous people's names too. They fucking came humble to don't ask. On the other hand, she could have used it to say something new about women and liberation. What makes me wonder is something I always noticed and liked about Janice. What's up, David from Challenge? He's famous now. Unlike most female performers whose act is intensely erotic, she never made me feel as if I were crashing an orgy that consisted of her and the men in the audience. When she got it on at a concert, she got it on with everybody. Still, the song she sang. What's up, Lyra? Lyra came to say hi again. Still, the song she sang assumed Janice loves Lyra. The song, not really. The song she sang assumed heterosexual romance. You're only young, huh? I love how all the older guys, right, who love rock and roll, call her baby and don't act. Still, the song she sang assumed heterosexual romance. It was men who made her hurt, who took another little piece of her heart. Watching men groove on Janice, I began to appreciate the resentment many black people felt towards whites who are blues freaks. Janice sang out of her pain as a woman, and men dug it. Yet it was men who caused the pain, and if they stopped causing it, they would not have her to dig. In a way, their adulation was the cruelest insult of all, and Janice's response to sing harder, get higher, be worshipped more, was rebellious, acquiescent, bewildered all at once. They said, I can't believe you said the word acquiescent right on your first time, yeah. When she said on stage, I make love, do you have anything to say about that? Yeah, I was a little surprised too. It felt good to say it right. They said, thank you for saying that. When she said, on stage, I make love to 25,000 people, then I go home alone, she was not merely repeating the cliche of the sad clown or the poor little rich girl. She was noting that the more she gave, the less she got. And that, honey, it ain't fair. And that, honey, it ain't fair. Like most woman singers, Joplin did not write many songs. She mostly interpreted other people's, but she made them her own way. But she made them her own. She made them her own in a way few singers dared to do. She did not sing them so much as struggle with them, assault them. Some critics complained, not always unfairly, that she strangled them to death. But at her best, she whipped them to a new life. She had an analogous adversary relationship with the musical form that dominated her imagination, the blues. Blues represented another external structure, one with its own contradictory tradition of sexual affirmation and sexist conservatism. But Janice used blues conventions to reject blues sensibility. To sing the blues is a way of transcending pain by confronting it with dignity. What do you think about this article, Joanne? She said she thinks it's the best magazine article she's ever heard of. That's an understatement. Just keep reading and don't ask. Did I say and don't ask, Josh? Yes, I did, so don't ask. But Janice wanted nothing less than to scream it out of existence. But Mama Thornton's classic, did I say and don't ask again? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Lord. Yes, I did. So just keep going. But Mama Thornton's classic rendition of Ball and Chain, carefully, should you take time to do Steve's Fighting Man of Israel thing now? You probably should, because he's really screaming in pain that it's not on there. Okay, all right. Let's see here. The Zionist War Room. Let's see. We got to find a picture of Steve Martin. Is he really in pain? He's a comedian, man. He's a fucking comedian, don't ask. Let's do this picture. There it is. All right. What tribe should we put you in? He wants to be an Ephraim and don't ask. Just put him in. Just put him in Issachar with Robert Carlyle. That's where he goes. They said Google Maps actually bought my website. They were all bidding for my shit. They were, don't ask. And Google Maps won. That's how it actually went down. If you think that's not how it went down, you're a very stupid man. All right, we put Steve Martin on there. All right, no, okay. All right, here we go. Big Mama Thornton's classic rendition of Ball and Chain carefully balances defiance and resignation, toughness and vulnerability. She almost pities her oppressor. I know you're going to miss me, baby. You'll find that your whole life will be like mine, all wrapped up in a ball and chain. Her singing conveys, do I like that great value coffee? It's the best, and don't ask. It's good. Walmart coffee is good, and don't ask. Her singing conveys, just any coffee is good, and don't ask. Not all coffee is good, but this coffee is good, and don't ask. All coffee is good, and don't ask. Her singing conveys, not all coffee is good, and don't ask. All coffee is good. All coffee is good, and don't ask. This coffee is good, and don't ask. That's all I have to say. Good job, Josh. That was pleasing to the Lord, and you may not ask. Because you were so pleasing to the Lord, you will never go a day of your life without coffee. Praise the Lord. Her singing conveys, are you ready for more coffee? I just want to finish this article. Good job, Josh. And the liturgy, yes. So we can get to Sister Miriam, yes. And Gwen, yes. Don't forget Gwen. She's not second, no. Just, they're paying attention to you that closely. Everyone came now. Her singing conveys, above all, they're angry at Janice now. Her determination, because they know you're going to do her recipe next. Yes, I am, and don't ask. Her singing conveys, above all, her determination to survive abuse. Janice makes the song into one long, frenzied, despairing protest. Why, she asks over and over. Why? I can't do it right. Sorry, Janice. She asks over and over, like a child unable to comprehend injustice. It ain't fair. This can't be. I just want to hold you. All I ever wanted to do was to love you. The pain is overwhelming her, dragging me down. Maybe you can help me. Come on, help me. There are similar differences between her recording of Piece of My Heart and Irma Franklin's. When Franklin sings it, it is a challenge. No matter what you do to me, what's up, Whoopi, I will not let you destroy my ability to be human, to love. Joplin seems rather to be saying, surely if I keep taking this, if I keep setting an example of love and forgiveness, surely he has to understand, change, give me back what I have given. Her pursuit of pleasure had the same driven quality. What it amounted to was refusal to admit of any limits that would not finally yield to the virtue of persistence. Try just a little bit harder, and the magic of extremes. This war against limits was largely responsible for the electrifying power of Joplin's early performances. It was what made Cheap Thrills a classic, in spite of unevenness and the impossibility of duplicating on a record the excitement of her concerts. After the split with Big Brother, Janice retrenched considerably, perhaps because she simply couldn't maintain that level of intensity, perhaps for other reasons that would have become clearer if she had lived. My uncertainty on this point makes me hesitate to be too dogmatic about my conviction that leaving Big Brother was a mistake. I was a Big Brother fan too. I thought they were better musicians than their detractors claimed, but more to the point, technical accomplishment in itself was not something I cared about. I thought it was an ominous sign that so many people did care, including Janice. It was, in fact, a sign that the tenuous alliance between mass culture and bohemianism, or, in my original formulation, the fantasy of stardom and the fantasy of cultural revolution, was breaking down. But the breakdown was not as neat as it might appear, for the elitist concept of good musicianship was as alien to the holistic egalitarian spirit of rock and roll as the act of leaving one's group the better to pursue was alien to the holistic egalitarian pretensions of the cultural The act of leaving one's group the better to pursue one's individual ambition was alien to the holistic egalitarian pretensions of the cultural revolutionaries. We'll read that again. But the breakdown was not as neat as it might appear, for the elitist concept of good musicianship was as alien to the holistic egalitarian spirit of rock and roll as the act of leaving one's group the better to pursue one's individual ambition was alien to the holistic egalitarian pretensions of the cultural revolutionaries. Hopefully we can understand what that means. If Joplin's decision to go it alone was influenced by all the obvious professional commercial pressures, it also reflected a conflict of values within the counterculture itself, a conflict that foreshadowed its imminent disintegration. And again, Janice's femaleness complicated the issues, raised the stakes. She had less room to maneuver than a man in her position, fewer alternatives to fall back on if she blew it. If she had to choose between fantasies, it made sense for her to go with stardom as far as it would take her. Discography. Janis Joplin, I got them all cosmic blues again, mama. Columbia 9913, star 5, 1969. Pearl, Columbia 30322, star 1, 1971. Joplin in concert, Columbia 33160, star 4, 1972. What are you saying to people, man? Are those codes or something? Yeah, they are, don't ask. Janis Joplin's greatest hits, Columbia 32168, star 37, 1973. Janis soundtrack, Columbia 33345, star 54, 1975. Big Brother and the Holding Company. Germany is fucked, don't ask. Big Brother and the Holding Company. Mainstream, I just love Janis, so that's the point. Mainstream 56099, star 601967. Big Brother and the Holding Company. Cheap Thrills, Columbia 9700, star 1, 1968. Since it's true, since Germany knows it's true that we killed those 5 people at the youth center, they're screaming in rage. Chart positions take from Joel Whitburn's record research. Good job, MTG. Compiled from Billboard Pop and LP's charts. But I wonder if she really had to choose, if her choice was not in some sense a failure of nerve and therefore of greatness. Janis was afraid Big Brother would hold her back, but if she had thought it was important enough, she might have been able to carry them along, make them transcend their limitations. There is more than a semantic difference between a group and a backup band. Janis had to relate to the members of Big Brother. Let's see how much is left. We're almost done. We got 3 paragraphs left. But if she thought it was important enough, she might have been able to carry them along, make them transcend their limitations. There is more than a semantic difference between a group and a backup band. Janis had to relate to the members of Big Brother as spiritual, not to mention financial equals, even though she had more talent than they, and I can't help suspecting that was good for her, not only emotionally and socially, but aesthetically. Committed to the hippie ethic of music for the hell of it, if only because there was no possibility of their becoming stars on their own, Big Brother helped Janis sustain the amateur quality that was an integral part of her effect. Their zaniness was a salutary reminder that good times meant silly fun. Remember Caterpillar, as well as Dionysiac abandon. It was a relief from Janis's extremism and at the same time a foil for it. At their best moments, I hope I pronounced that word right. Dionysiac? Yeah. Whatever. Dionysiac? I don't know. At their best moments, Big Brother made me think. Let's see. We'll do Dionysiac pronunciation. Dionysiac abandon. It was a relief from Janis's extremism and at the same time a foil for it. At their best moments, Big Brother made me think of the Beatles, who weren't, at least in the beginning, such terrific musicians either. Though I'm not quite soft-headed enough to imagine that by keeping her group intact, Janis Joplin could somehow have prevented or delayed the end of an era, or even saved her own life. It would have been an impressive act of faith, and acts of faith by public figures always have reverberations one way or another. Such speculation is, of course, complicated. All right, we're at the end of this video. We'll finish it. Yeah, we'll finish this one and the next one. We could just do Daily Motion. Should we just do Daily Motion? No, Josh, we'll just put this on YouTube. Okay, we'll just put this on YouTube.